the masters of our destiny.
Small individual acts of solidarity, repeated millions of times. That is what it will take. That's what it will take to beat Trumpism in the next congressional election and in the next presidential election. That's what can happen here. Small individual acts of solidarity, repeated millions of times. That wasn't Hungary we were watching just then. That is Canada. If Canadians can do it, this country can and should do it. The international sound of resistance to Donald Trump was heard in the British House of Commons. And the language used to describe Donald Trump was on a par with the language Winston Churchill used to describe Adolf Hitler during World War II.
Hitler is a monster of wickedness.
A monster of wickedness. Words to describe the worst, most murderous dictator in European history and world history. And yesterday, in the British Parliament, the words, "He is a dangerous and corrupt gangster," were used to describe the President of the United States, an office once occupied by the president who beat Adolf Hitler in World War II. The leader of the free world is a phrase invented during the television age and applied by the American news media to the President of the United States, while most of the rest of the world didn't quite see it that way. The phrase was always a fiction, falsely suggesting that the world could be led by anyone, or even half the world, the so-called free world, could be led. The American news media that so mindlessly used that term for all of Donald Trump's lifetime has, unconsciously, I presume, dropped it. When is the last time you heard Donald Trump referred to as the leader of the free world? No one in the news media could possibly use that phrase about him now. The news media that so overdid that phrase has mercifully dropped it without ever having had a meeting about, hey, let's not use that phrase anymore. It just disappeared. It's just so obvious to everyone, including everyone in the news media, that Donald Trump is not even a leader of his own country. And so the phrase has disappeared, leader of the free world. It has just disappeared from recent usage, but it was revived yesterday on the floor of the House of Commons, only to rip it away from Donald Trump. Edward Davey is the leader of the Liberal Democrats in Parliament, and he rose yesterday to say this.
A whole civilization will die tonight. Words I never thought I would hear from an American president. And though Donald Trump thankfully didn't follow through this time, these words are a stark reminder of how reckless, immoral, and completely outside the bounds of international law this president is. Regrettably, he is no friend of the United Kingdom. He is no leader of the free world. He is a dangerous and corrupt gangster, and that is how we must treat him.
A dangerous and corrupt gangster. That will no doubt be the title of at least one biography of Donald Trump, probably by a British historian. That is the kind of description of Donald Trump that will live in history because of where it was given, because of when it was given, and because of the otherwise positive history, centuries of positive history between presidents of the United States and the British Parliament. Presidents of the United States, like Franklin Delano Roosevelt during World War II, were treated as heroes by the British Parliament. Heroes. And now the President of the United States can be called a dangerous and corrupt gangster in Parliament, and no one shouts that down. No one disagrees. And that is how we must treat him, says Edward Davey, and no one disagrees with that. Edward Davey described Donald Trump's latest fit of madness